What is up, guys? As you can see, I'm not in my studio. I'm actually parked, because you should not drive and vlog or drive and record a video, because that's kind of irresponsible. So I'm being the responsible adult, and I'm actually parked. I mean, I gotta go do some stuff. But before that, I want to start this video off, this way, and kind of do something a little bit different in the videos. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to analyze songs and how to analyze different, compositions and whatnot, so you can kind of decide what different extensions you can use for the chords and what different stuff you can add to stop playing those normal, triad chords that we all play, and start using something more than just major 7s, dominant 7s, or minor 7s chords, and start using a little bit more extensions and where to use them, why to use them, and how to analyze all of this to make it work that way. I've been teaching this weekend in a few of the lessons. I actually talked about this, and I thought, why not make a video and talk a little bit more about this for those that are looking for this sort of information. So before we cut back into the studio, I've seen this from other YouTubers, and I want to give it a try to see if it works. So let's go. 1, 2. Apparently it does work. I'm gonna play the intro, and I'll see you guys on the rest of the video. What is up, guys? My name is Franco Torres, and I'm a guitar player and guitar instructor based in Puerto Rico. I basically teach every day, and when I'm not, I'm working with my band Keeley the Great. In today's video, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about harmonizing and kind of just analyzing chords. So if you're new to harmony, I highly suggest watching this video first, which is the video that's before this one in the series, which I talk a little bit about harmonizing and whatnot. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about analyzing chords, and then in the next one we're going to talk about actually adding extensions to all of this. And this comes because I've been teaching this past week, and then in certain classes I've been talking about this topic, and I kind of thought, why not make a video about this. And I actually have my real book here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Autumn Leaves, which is a pretty simple standard. I'm going to put it over here so you guys can see it while we talk about it and analyze the chords that are going on there. So at first glance, we can see that it's in G major or E minor with the key signature over on the top, and then we have an A minor 7, D7, and G major 7. So the first thing that's going on here is that we have a 2-5-1. How do I know that? Well, we're in G, right? The 2 chord would be an A minor 7, and then if we keep counting G, A, B, C, and then D, the D would be the 5. So 5 and then 1, because we're in G major. Then we have a C major 7, which is actually a 4 chord. That's pretty perfect. And then we have an F sharp minor 7. So the F sharp minor 7 is not actually playing as a 7 chord. It's actually playing as a 2, because if we analyze the next part, you're gonna see what's going on. So we have an F sharp minor 7, B7, and then an E minor. So that what's going on there is, in terms of E minor, we're playing a 2-5-1 towards that E minor. So that F sharp is E, F sharp, then we have a G, then we have an A, then we have a B. That B would be the 5 chord to the E. So in terms of what's going on there, that's why we're actually adding the B7, because the B7 is not part of the G major scale, because it has a D sharp in its third, and that note is not part of the G major scale. And if you look at the key signature over on the top, the D sharp is not part of anything. So there you can see how we're adding that B7 over here, and how we're connecting one thing to the other, right? So basically we can connect one chord from one place to the other via 2-5-1s. It's a pretty common way, and this is like a simple 5. We can also use different 5 chords that are connected by different means, which we're gonna talk about in later videos. But yeah, so that's basically a 2-5-1 towards the E minor, which is the 6th of the G. And how do I know that it's the 6th? G, A, B, C, D, E. The E is the 6th, so it's pretty standard right there. Then in the next section we have the same thing. We have a 2-5 towards an E minor, And then we have an A minor 7, D7, G major 7, which is another 2-5-1, but towards G major in this time. Then we have F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7 flat 9. So let me address that flat 9 over there because it's pretty interesting as well. That flat 9 is part of the scale. It's a C. So that note is pretty cool because that note creates this sort of tension that is gonna resolve towards the next chord. Check it out. It's a flat 9 and it resolves to the 5 of the next chord. The 5, I mean the interval, the 5th. So it resolves into the 5th of the next chord. So that's kind of something. That's really neat, and the ears like that very much. And you know, harmonically speaking, it's really pleasing because you're resolving into one note by a chord tone, which is always welcome. Then we have something pretty interesting in this turnaround later. We have an E minor 7, A7, D minor 7, G7. Then we have a F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7 flat 9, and then E minor. So this is what's called a chain of 2-5-1s, but it's interesting because one of those 5s is a tritone sub, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So we have E minor 7, A7, that's 2, 5, and then, or A dominant, which is a 5, and then D minor 7 is the one towards that little 2-5, but then it's actually working as a 2 with another 5, and that 5 is not actually going into its 1, which would be C major 7. It's instead working as a tritone sub. So a tritone sub is basically, so a tritone sub is literally that. It's a tritone from the dominant that's supposed to go to another chord. But the interesting part here is that it's essentially the same chord. The only thing that's different between the tritone sub and the dominant that's going to the next chord, which in this case is the F sharp minor 7 flat 5, is that we're actually changing the root note. So the actual difference instead is that the third from one chord is the 7th from the other one, the dominant 7th, and then the dominant 7th from the first chord is the third for the next one. So it's basically just switching them up. I'm gonna put a little diagram here so you guys can see it, or rather just some letters so you guys can see how it kind of works. So if we were to look at a dominant chord that would resolve into the F sharp minor 7 flat 5, we'd actually be talking about the C sharp 7. So if you notice, these two notes are the 3rd and 7th of the C sharp 7. But then if we play the G7 or the G dominant, the 3rd from the other chord is the 7th, and then the 7th from the other chord is the 3rd, and then that resolves into the F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So that's kind of how that little part works. That's how tritone subs work in essence. Then we have a B7 flat 9, and then an E. So it's basically the same thing from before. So basically that's kind of how you start analyzing this. You start looking at what they are. First you look at, you know, what the chords are and what they are related to, and kind of, you know, discard this thing that, oh, if it says that we're in G, we must be in G and every chord is related to G. Not necessarily every chord is related to G. Sometimes the chords work for the next chord. So always keep that in mind, that when you're analyzing some song or something, kind of use the chords as the function that they are referring to with the chords in context, not rather than, you know, just look at the chords for the chords that they are to that scale, because not necessarily they're going to be part of the scale. They may be just borrowed so you can, you know, jump from one place to the other. And I'm gonna leave it here because it's pretty extensive, and you know, you can just go back and look at how I analyzed it and how we talked a little bit about it. If you do have any questions about it, leave it down in the comments, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. In the next one, I'm gonna actually talk a little bit about what notes to add, what extensions to add, and where to add them, and why to add them, and how to connect them, sort of like that flat 9 that resolves into the 5 of the minor chord, not the minor 7th chord. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.